chaotic, bursting city. Assault on the senses. Imagine peace and tranquility in the form of pristine nature right in the middle of Mumbai city. Don't imagine, it's already here. The Observer Research Foundation Mumbai ORF's study unveils the story of the Maharashtra Nature Park, Mumbai's best kept secret.
We had this Bandra-Kurla complex plan which was put out by the new BMRDA, the Bombay Metropolitan Regional Development Authority, and they asked for public comments. And of course, we being in the environment field, jumped at this. I think BMRDA and MMRDA have been very lucky to have good commissioners there. What has happened in Mahim Nature Park is that consciously one has tried to create a forested area so that you are mentally also away totally from the city, and you are able to get a little grasp of nature.
Maharashtra Nature Park is an amazing sanctuary of green located right in the heart of Mumbai, with one of India's largest financial districts, Bandra-Kurla complex on one side and one of the world's largest slum settlements, Dharavi, on the other. Today, when one roams the expanse of the park, one can hardly imagine this beautiful forest being a garbage dump that used to stink and was infested with toxins.
It was a garbage dump, and I think it was in Ganesh Chaturthi sometime in the early 1980s that some of us were there when we got saplings from Pune, and that's when it all began. I remember the day very well. Dr. Salim Ali was there, SP Godrej, and a few other people there.
Mahim Nature Park, Maharashtra Nature Park, MNP. Call it what you may. It's not just a hidden forest in the middle of Mumbai city. It has so much more to offer. Let's start with the Education Center. A beautiful, environmentally friendly building designed and modelled in the shape of the sun. It has exhibition room which is used by photographers and artists from the city of Mumbai to display their art. It gives them a wonderful platform. An audiovisual room which is used for the screening of films on the environment, fully equipped audiovisual room. It has library, an open air amphitheatre with large seating and grass seats. But besides this round building, there are many other attractions in this park. For example, on the extreme west end is a huge nursery, almost 4 acres in size, which sells saplings of various trees of indigenous species, and it has some herbs of medicinal plants where people can come and learn about so many different aspects of nature which are not taught in any textbooks in any school or college. Moving on, the main attraction of the park is the Shanti Path, the Peace Path, which meanders over 1.8 kilometers through the core area of the park. The core area of the park, by the way, is 20 acres of forest-like environment. It's beautiful, it's dense. As the path meanders through this core area, one gets to see and study and learn about nature up front and in person. And as you come around, you then approach this beautiful water body, this reservoir, almost 1 acre in size. It can supply the entire MNP's 37 acres with water for irrigation.
Maharashtra Nature Park is an excellent open-air classroom. It serves as a wonderful introduction to nature and environment. The park's rich biodiversity that boasts of over 125 species of birds and over 75 species of butterflies has made it an important convening spot for photographers, nature lovers and bird watchers.
Coming to nature park is not just an entertainment, it is more of understanding. So spending more time like 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours spending inside nature park, visiting different parts of the park, experimenting all the experiments which have been carried out.
Given MNP's prime location and unique offerings, the consistently low footfalls at the park are baffling. While 3 lakh visitors were expected each year, in reality, only 50,000 people visit the park on average.
It needs some action on its front in terms of sprucing up, in terms of some facilities for the visitors, which I think needs, so its management needs a little more proactive and a little more dynamism in terms of treating people, treating visitors as an asset.
While the park provides a respite to the densely populated areas that surrounds it, one of the most densely populated in the whole world, it is also rife with several issues. Only 27 acres of the park has been developed and the remaining 10 acres has been lying unused. So that is being used by the recycling industry that borders the park. And around 1 acre of the park has been utilized for that purpose. The boundary wall has been breached in several areas. This breaching of boundary walls has raised several security issues. There is a lot of trespassing happening inside the park. There is also a lot of open defecation because the slum settlements that surround the park have really poor sanitation facilities. Besides that, there is another really important issue, and that is of garbage dumping. The garbage collection on both sides of the park is very, very poor. A lot of slum dwellers resort to dumping garbage on the park's premises. MNP's issues cannot be looked at in isolation. The Methi River, mangroves and mudflats are an integral part of the park's environment and must be addressed simultaneously.
What starts off as a clear flow of water abundant with fish life from the tailwaters of the Vihar and Pavai Lake quickly turns into a filthy, repulsive, toxic muck as the Methi River is forced to absorb the city's untreated sewage, chemical discharge, industrial pollutants and direct dumping of garbage.
The Methi finally flows past the Maharashtra Nature Park and Mahim estuary before dumping its highly polluted waters into the Arabian Sea.
We are now in the Mahim estuary. Behind me are thick mangrove forests which have stood here for centuries together but are now under threat. These mangrove forests are part of the estuarine part of the Methi River, which along with the mud flats makes up no less than 400 acres of land. Mind you, these 400 acres of land is right in the heart of Mumbai city between the suburbs of Mahim, Bandra, Dharavi, Sion, Kurla and almost Chunnabhatti, and it's such a precious resource but very poorly understood by the city of Mumbai and quite abused.
Behind me is a beautiful man-made lake created by the local fisher folk, and it's actually created for farming of fish and prawns.
Beautiful, isn't it? Clean, pristine lake surrounded by lush mangroves on all sides, right in the heart of Mumbai city. Difficult to believe, isn't it? Wouldn't it be wonderful if millions of Mumbaikars who are starved for open green spaces could come and enjoy this beautiful, beautiful, precious secret of Mumbai? That is exactly what ORF Mumbai envisions in its study on the Maharashtra Nature Park, which is just a stone's throw away from here. The study says, let's encompass the purview of that park to include these 400 acres of mangroves and mudflats, and then create a beautiful 4 to 5 kilometer long boardwalk that circumambulates these lakes, sometimes dipping close to the surface, so people who are walking on it can enjoy the beauty of these lakes up close and in person. The best place to see the birds in an estuary like this is from the treetops. A boardwalk, just imagine running all the way around this lake at about 30 feet height. You can see everything, an uninterrupted view, a panorama of this most beautiful estuary in Mahim.
I am now standing at the northeastern corner of the Maharashtra Nature Park. In front of me is the Mithi River, and beyond that is the Bandra Kurla complex. To my right are the slums of Dharavi, and behind me, just about 400 meters away, are the train stations of Sion on the Central Line and Chunnabhatti on the Harbour Line. Just imagine if we could connect these destinations with a pedestrian and cyclist-only bridge and thoroughfare through the Maharashtra Nature Park. One would be able to reach the BKC from Sion and Chunnabhatti in under 15 minutes by foot and even lesser time on a bicycle, rather than spending close to 30 minutes in bumper-to-bumper traffic in the peak hours. Now, imagine this journey taking you through a densely wooded public space which would have small shops, food courts, daycare centers and play areas for children, and many other goodies that you can expect to find in a world-class city. And finally, you go over a stunning bridge across the Mithi River to the doorstep of the Bandra Kurla complex, which is already cyclist and pedestrian friendly. Those visiting the park for fitness walks or jogs or even for cycling would be drawn to the 1.2 kilometer long promenade that runs parallel to the Mithi River along the park's northern boundary and is contiguous with the bridge and the thoroughfare. You could even park your vehicle across the road from the MNP in a multi-level car parking before making your way into the park or the thoroughfare. Needless to say, this entire infrastructure is envisioned as being 100% disabled friendly. The 20-acre forest-like core is the heart of the MNP. It is sensitive and must be preserved and protected. ORF's study recommends adding 2.5 acres or over 1 lakh square feet of forested area to this core. This can be partly achieved by trimming the area of the existing nursery from about 4 acres to 2.5 acres and creating there a biodiversity reserve, which would be a one-stop shop for all your nature and gardening related needs and much more. Must we look at slum residents with disdain when they defecate in the open? No. Let's provide them with adequate and clean sanitation facilities so that they too can live a life of dignity and have access to this most basic urban service. The smallest thoughtful intervention can bring about the greatest positive impact on the Maharashtra Nature Park and its surroundings. Why can we not address issues with the park's existing infrastructure, its security, its offerings, and of course, its management? Just take a step back and look at it afresh, like an artist would in the creation of a masterpiece.
Mumbai is a city which desperately lacks green and open spaces, and the Maharashtra Nature Park at Mahim is one of those rare natural endowments which the city has. The MNP and its surrounding mangroves need to be preserved for the sake of the citizens of Mumbai. I would like to commend the Observer Research Foundation at Mumbai for undertaking such a detailed study about the comprehensive and eco-friendly transformation of this park that we have. This will also complement the ongoing efforts MMRDA is undertaking for the restoration and rejuvenation of the Mithi River. The MMRDA is committed to preserving the green and open spaces of the city. To that extent, I would request all the citizens of Mumbai to help us in this regard. I would also like to call upon the business community at BKC for partnering MMRDA in undertaking such iconic urban renewal projects in and around the area of BKC.
Today, once again, we stand at a crossroad that will determine the future of the Maharashtra Nature Park. Will it forever remain a hidden forest in the middle of the city, or will it become a world-class environmental icon for everyone to enjoy? That is the question.